Hello, welcome back to Call Clutter Fairy, where I help you get clutter free so that you can live stress free. Today I'm going to be showing you a few before and after craft rooms that I really like and explaining why they're worth copying. The first room we're going to look at has some great bones to it. It's already a really nice room. However, some of the things that they did that really helped were to paint the entire room one color and unify it. This really gives a lot of unity to a room. But the second thing they did was paint the furniture white. And again, this just makes a cohesive look. Rearrange the bins they had on a shelf, decluttered their side shelves, and used vertical space. This is so important in a room. The second room is much the same in that they just repainted the entire room and they painted the furniture. You guys, this helps to unify things so much, and a can of spray paint just isn't that expensive. They also decluttered some of the areas, and in this room, taking down those dark curtains really helped to open the room up. They also just put a little cover around that bottom table so that they could store things underneath. Brilliant. This next one is a small closet, and I'm guessing that there's this strange pipe that's coming out. I'm guessing this is a radiator somewhere back east. Not a lot you can do with this wall, so they chose to cover it with this little makeshift table. Again, using some vertical space, they added some shelves, and what I really love about this one is they even have room for their kitty cat. So I really like this. This is a great use of a space. Now, this one is something I've done in my own home. We don't use rooms traditionally, and in this one, they weren't using their dining room, I'm guessing. So they put in some wider shelves. As you notice, what they have in here is much smaller. So by creating a larger wall unit to hold all of their crafting supplies, this room now becomes a crafting space with all of this table surface. So if you're just using a corner of a room, this is a great way to restructure it. So you see they have this little desk. They've repainted. I always suggest that if you can afford it. They repainted their furniture, but they also repainted their storage pieces to match, and this gives it such a cohesive look. They also added a little bookshelf, and now you have a beautiful little crafting corner. I talked about closets before when you're creating a small craft space. This one was one of my favorites, so I wanted to talk about it again. In this space, they took off the doors, but you don't have to do this. Closing the doors gives you a section you can close off, but they put in a pegboard, or they might have used command strips, added one surface area which allowed them to have storage underneath, and a secondary shelf above, and now this is a very functional crafting spot. Now, this one I have to pause for, because if you have a walk-in closet that is this big, I would very much like to move in with you. But if you don't need a closet this big, why not turn it into a crafting corner? So what they did on this particular one is they took out these wire shelves. I mean, why not? And they put in a beautiful wood shelf. Now, they didn't follow the line of the original one, and I agree, because that corner would have been completely lost. They built a lovely surface area that gave them storage underneath and used the vertical space in this. This one is beautiful, and it looks like they have natural lighting. I would be in there all of the time. Now, this one is already pretty on its own. I'm guessing this was an office, but they weren't using it anymore. So repainting the cabinets, making it aesthetically beautiful, taking out those office supplies that they didn't need anymore, and put in their craft things. What a gorgeous space. And on this one, they didn't have to change anything, just paint and take out the items they weren't using. I loved this one and really wanted to point out what they did. So this was a functional space for them, but they had this little file cabinet that just wasn't working. It didn't fit underneath. So instead of getting rid of the cabinet, they raised the table up so that the cabinet can now slide underneath. This gives them more space in the area. They created more vertical space for their storage, and they just decluttered a little bit. So this one is a beautiful example of just a couple of small changes making a big difference. This website is Dreaming in DIY, and I've got a link below. You have to check out how she created this. But you know, in the 80s and 90s when they had all of those big giant oak entertainment centers, I mean, they were full wall units. People are giving them away or selling them for next to nothing all of the time. Look at what she did. She has repurposed them, taken off the glass doors, repainted them, and has turned them into beautiful crafting stations. On hers, she painted some beadboard in the back, just a beautiful pink color. You guys, I think this is genius. So check out her site below. These were just a few quick ideas about how you can really recreate your own space with not a lot of money. I've always been a huge fan of repainting things. Almost everything in our house are items that we've thrifted, found on the side of the road, or found in dumpsters. We have a few hand-me-downs, but the thing that makes everything cohesive is I am not afraid of going and buying a can of spray paint that's a couple of bucks and repainting the item. It's actually become a rule in our house as we're driving by and I slow down. If the kids see something on the side of the road, they say, "No, Mom." But don't be afraid of refreshing things so that it really matches your aesthetic. And think outside of the box. You know, our house is so tiny. It's 2 bedrooms. My kids got older and it was becoming difficult for them to be in one room. They have different interests. So I gave up my bedroom. They each have their own room now. They've been able to decorate it their own way. I got a sectional from IKEA that turns into a bed and has storage in it. I put my bedding in it at night. And at first I thought, yikes, this is a really big sacrifice, but it has worked so well for our family. And frankly, this is my favorite space. I am out here most of the time. So, you know, don't be afraid of looking at your areas and using them in a way that really fits your needs and what makes you happy. I really hope you liked today's video. If you did, please click the like button. Comment on which makeover that you liked the most, or send me a picture of something that you've done in your area. I would love to share it with the other subscribers. For those of you that have returned, thank you so much. But if you're new to the channel, please click the subscribe button and the notification button. I've been trying to put videos out twice a week. I will see you very soon, and thank you so much. Bye.